Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast. Oh, sorry about that. A shoutcast between alternate XLord and WickedHot. And now, wait, WickedHot. Okay, this is probably going to be my most watched YouTube video ever if I actually post it as Wicked Space Hot. So I'll just try to keep those names together. Otherwise, it's yeah, haha. Anyways, I'm Wicked Lord spawning on the top left-hand side of Twisted Meadows as the pink Night Elf player, quickly getting that Altar of Elders and that Moonwell. Meanwhile, down over here on the south-hand side, we have alternate XLord. I'll just call him XLord right now. I'm getting a standard Crypt, Altar of Darkness, and a Ziggurat. Pretty exposed on this side. Perhaps he'll get a Graveyard in this position to try to protect those Acolytes a little bit better, or perhaps getting a Tome of Relics down here. Pretty much a standard build right now. WickedHot now getting that Ancient of War over here. Most likely going to be getting a Warden or a Demon Hunter. Agility heroes are generally better against the Night Elf as they're able to walk faster, deal more damage, and they're just so much harder to deal with anyways. Right now, WickedHot getting that Ancient of War, and we'll get this game underway right now. I believe this game is from the Star Wars over in Korea. I'm not 100% sure. I can't read the Chinese that I pull all of my replays from, and the site actually really just does a really good job of posting replays really quickly and having really pretty accurate reviews on, like, you know, whether the game is good or bad. And I'm also not tempted on reading what exactly happens in the game, so I'm as surprised as you are. Right now, Ziggurat now getting into play, so that Ziggurat trying to protect more of those Acolytes. Those Acolytes can hide into this position as the hero tries to come back around and then try to move back and forth to avoid any Warden harass. Is it going to be a Warden? It is in fact going to be a Warden from WickedHot. So WickedHot getting that Warden and now getting that Moonwell. Archer is going to be popping out in just a moment, and we will get this game underway. Archer now popping out, gonna fire that single arrow, and then haha, chase me, like any other girl, chase me. Anyway, Ancient of War now trying to take down this Null Overseer. Null Overseer taking some damage along with that Ancient of War. Warden going to be coming in trying to finish off that Null Overseer in just a moment. Meanwhile, we have that Death Knight moving out with a couple ghouls. Death Knight killing that sheep and maybe trying to creep out the Null Overseers. I think he's going to try to creep out the Null Overseers based upon the number of ghouls that he has. Yeah, and is trying to take creep out the Null Overseer camp right now. Quickly going after those Null Wardens. Those Null Wardens taking additional damage from those skeletal minions and those ghouls as they deal normal damage right now. Ghoul quickly getting healed back up. Meanwhile, Warden still trying to creep out this particular creep camp, and the Death Knight's going to be able to creep faster than the Warden, but the Death Knight is going to have to lose a little bit of his wood production right now. Wood's currently sitting at 134, so it's going to be a little bit later of the tech right there. Death Knight picking up a Ring of Protection +2, not that great of an item. Ancient of War rerouting himself or itself as that Warden now heading out with that Circle of Nobility. Death Knight, on the other hand, wants to get up to level 2, going to try to take down these Null Brutes and this Null over here. Warden, on the other hand, may try to get a Shadow Strike. Yeah, Shadow Strike off on that Death Knight. Death Knight now sitting at level 2, may get that Unholy Aura. Yeah, Unholy Aura, and make it a surround off on that. Ooh, almost gets a surround off on that Warden. That Warden now trying to come back around, and Warden should be able to get a Shadow Strike off on that Null Brute if he wants to. Oh, almost gets another surround. Wow. So WickedHot really just lucking out at this point. Shadow Strike down. Oh my goodness, Death Knight should have totally used a Death Coil on that to make sure that there was no level 2 right there. Now Warden trying to push back away. Archer, single Archer, and that Warden moving back away. I do not think Hot has trained. Oh, Hot has in fact trained Blink. So Blink is going to be that ability right there. Archer now coming in, waiting for a Shadow Strike. A little bit surprised that there isn't a Shadow Strike on a Ghoul and then pushing it back. Of course there's no Shadow Strike on a Ghoul. There's only one, actually there is one Ghoul in that mix. Right now, single Archer trying to come back away, and now that Warden still doing a little bit of a dance. Once again, another Shadow Strike off on that Death Knight. Death Knight now trying to chase down a low hit point Archer. Archers are just going to hide, and that Death Knight has not purchased any Dust of Appearance. Skeletal Minion now chasing down that Warden. Warden buying that Boots of Speed and now trying to run away once again. Death Knight now coming into that main base, and now those Moonwalls just quickly healing up back those units once again. So WickedHot looking pretty good at this point. Right now we have an Ancient of War still sitting over here. Wow, I'm a little bit confused by the map. I don't know why. I've been playing a different game today, so this looks a little bit foreign to me right now. Death Knight now trying to run back away. Archer's trying to focus down that Ghoul. Ghoul does not have a Shadow Strike, so is able to outrun that Warden right now. And then we have the Death Knight perhaps going to try to buy something. Are we going to get no, Death Coil on that, yeah, Death Coil on that Ghoul, and that Ghoul is trying to run away right now. Warden down to 178 hit points, and that Ghoul is in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of damage right there. Death Knight may be able to get off, no, not going to be able to get off another Death Coil. Down goes that Ghoul due to that damage over time, and now more Ghouls coming out. Warden trying to run back away, 143 hit points, and we have Ghouls now trying to chase down that Archer. Archer trying to run single file, trying to get away. Death Knight may be able to get, oh, not quite enough to get in front of that Archer, and Archer is able to continue to move back right now. Currently sitting at Tree of Ages, now getting an Ancient of Wonders as well. Currently sitting at Halls of the Dead, getting that Graveyard and that Crypt, a secondary Crypt. Okay, so we may see Gargoyles at this point. So Gargoyles may be joining this army, and with the number of Archers, I do not think that Gargoyles are really going to be that strong. And we'll see also what the secondary hero of Hot's going to be. If Hot chooses, in fact, to go Pandarian Brewmaster, that is going to be very, very effective counter against those Gargoyles right now. Archers quickly focusing down that single Mud Golem. We have a Wisp now coming, or a group of Wisps now coming in trying to repair that Ancient of War, getting ensnared as well. And now we have Ghouls, and that's a Creepjack. Nice detonation, able to take down one of those Archers, and now also taking down those Skeletal Minions. Death Knight and that Warden continuing to fight back right now. Death Knight down to 230 hit points. Shadow Strike off on that Ghoul. Ghoul will not be able to make it. Coming back around, even just taking more damage. Misplay by XLord. XLord should have just sacrificed that Ghoul. And now getting some pathing in on that from that Ghoul. No, but that Warden is able to really outrun that Ghoul, even with that, what's it called? No, once again, getting some pathing. And now that Warden may have gotten a Shadow Strike, but no Shadow Strike. Ghoul now taking some more damage. Death Knight now just trying to get back in front of that Warden. Not a smart move right there. I'm not quite sure what that Death Knight's really thinking. Right now, that Warden does not have enough mana, so that Death Knight is able to outrun that Wisp, or outrun that Warden right now. But that Wisp doing a really good job pathing right there, able to slow up that Death Knight once again. So very nicely done by WickedHot. Right now, we have an Ancient of War sitting over here. Ancient of War 23 over 50 food for WickedHot. Meanwhile, we have 31 over 40 for XLord. Currently getting a Sacrificial Pit. Is he getting Gargoyles? Yes, he is in fact getting Gargoyles. I do not see a Slaughterhouse yet at this point. And looking at the wood, plenty of wood for him to use. No indication of a Lich coming into this army yet, and those Gargoyles are now up in the air. Gargoyles are going to be doing some harassment, and I do not think WickedHot is quite ready for this. Those Ancient of Lores going to be completed, and we have Gargoyles up in the air, and those are Gargoyles going to try to take down some of those Wisps, group of Wisp over here, and we'll see how those Gargoyles really work out at this point. Gargoyles now coming in trying to do that damage, and WickedHot quickly moving away those Wisps so that those Gargoyles are unable to deal any damage. And a Pandarian Brewmaster from WickedHot, so that Pandarian Brewmaster, a good counter right now. Death Knight sitting at level 2, trying to get to level 3, should be a little bit shy most likely. Right now I still do not see a secondary hero, and we now finally have a Shade coming out from XLord. A Death Knight now trying to take down that Null Overseer. Null Overseer down to 131, 96, 45 hit points. Down it goes. Claws of Attack +6, and that Death Knight now just needs to finish off this green camp, or one of these green creeps, and then be done with it. Pandarian Brewmaster now finally getting some experience. Warden, on the other hand, now seen at level 3, buys a Goblin Shredder, and that Goblin Shredder is going to be used to mine and really just limit the amount of damage that XLord will be able to do with those Gargoyles in terms of air harassment. Gargoyles now trying to come in. Gargoyles taking down one of those Wisps over there. Down it goes. Perhaps those Gargoyles will be able to take down a couple more Wisps. Right now, we also have a Shade coming out in here, so a Shade keeping track of WickedHot right now, making sure he does in fact see that there is a Pandarian Brewmaster. More Wisp now coming in from the top hand side. Perhaps the Gargoyles will be able to focus down this Goblin Shredder, but the Dryads do have poison attack, or that poison damage over time, so it's also going to be a slowing attack right now. Gargoyles now trying to figure out if they can really deal any damage or do any harassment anywhere. Going to quickly find a slow hit point Wisp. 1, 2, 3, down. Another one goes, and now the Pandarian Brewmaster with those archers going to try to take down those Gargoyles. Gargoyles quickly retreating once again. Warden, it was on the other side over here trying to deal some harassment, but quickly has to blink away. Death Knight now sitting at level 3, uses a potion of mana. Death Coil down to 42 hit points. Wow, 45 hit points. Now running back really quickly right now. Death Knight now trying to catch up. Death Knight should not be able, will he be able to catch up? He does have that Boots of Speed, and he has Unholy Aura, so he may be able to catch up to that Warden. Warden down to 59 hit points. Death Knight now trying to chase. Death Knight trying to chase. Another Blink Beam being used, and Blink doing a really good job, and Warden able to use that Moonwell to once again heal back up right now. Death Knight now trying to run back away. Warden trying to chase him right now. A little bit surprised that Death Knight doesn't. There's a Death Coil and followed by a Shadow Strike. But those Gargoyles going to come back around and try to focus down that Warden. Warden down to 156, down to 117 hit points, and when we'll be able to heal back up once again. Currently a Shade sitting here right now, and we are now getting the attack upgrade. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between XLord and WickedHot here on Twisted Meadows.